South Africa is an enemy of Nigeria. Nigeria's former foreign affairs minister said this on an interview with Arise Television. And then I went through a particular content creator who is from Ghana. And the content creator was being very biased. So what is making me make this video is the fact that this woman, I expected her to, listen to the reason why the former foreign minister is saying that South Africa is an enemy of Nigeria.
If Nigeria has embraced and pursued that policy, we will be the one, in fact, who will have been determining the fate of South Africa, not South Africa determining our fate. What played out in South Africa is, let me call it spade by spade. Normally, I'm diplomatic in my language. South Africa has simply shown itself as an enemy of Nigeria that is determined at all costs to checkmate Nigeria wherever it gets the opportunity to do so.
Hi everyone, welcome to Ghana Observer. So I was going about my business when, lo and behold, something popped up on my YouTube feed. And it must be that YouTube wanted me to respond, because this is the first time I'm hearing of this Nigerian YouTuber who brought me up as a subject. So today's video is about this Nigerian woman, YouTuber, who claims I'm biased regarding my last video that I made about Nigeria's ex-foreign service minister, and him saying that he said it, his words, I didn't put those words in his mouth. He said South Africa is an enemy of Nigeria. I just played the clip again, and he clearly said those words. What he wanted to do to South Africa has backfired.
What has played out in the summit in South Africa is what some of us had anticipated as far back as 1987. I was the minister at that time. I warned Nigerians that the anti-apartheid struggle was basically over, and Nigeria will have to redefine its foreign policy and know that there are going to be competitors for its status. Nigerians didn't listen to me at that time. That is when I proposed the concept of medium powers. BRICS is a variation of the concept of medium powers. Nigerians rejected my proposal, even though foreign countries that we invited accepted that proposal. If Nigeria has embraced and pursued that policy, we will be the one, in fact, who will have been determining the fate of South Africa, not South Africa determining our fate. We will be the one, in fact, who will have been determining the fate of South Africa. We will be the one, in fact, who will have been determining the fate of South Africa, not South Africa determining our fate. What played out in South Africa is, let me call it spade by spade. Normally, I'm diplomatic in my language. South Africa has simply shown itself as an enemy of Nigeria that is determined at all costs to checkmate Nigeria wherever it gets the opportunity to do so.
So he's speaking out of his bitterness, and it's a pattern, and I'm going to show it in this video so that this rambling Nigerian, who obviously has no clue what she's talking about, will see that it is a pattern. And then she also comes up with all kinds of accusations, baseless accusations, which I'm going to play and respond with proof. I'm going to play her clips and respond with proof, unlike her who just opened her mouth and started rambling, meandering like a water body. seeking an outlet.
If that the foreign minister is saying that South Africans are the enemy of Nigeria, you should be able to sit down to find out why he made that comment.
Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov was welcomed by his South African counterpart for talks in Pretoria on Monday, in a visit that has sparked criticism against the backdrop of the war in Ukraine. His visit comes as South African military prepares to host a joint military exercise with Russia and China on its east coast. Joining us right now to discuss the proposed South African military drill with Russia and China is Professor BOLAJI AKINYEMI, Nigeria's former Minister of Foreign Affairs. Good morning, Prof. Thank you very much for joining us on the Morning Show.
Good morning, Dr. Abati. Good morning, Rufai. And good morning, Aya.
Good morning.
Thank you for inviting me.
Well, Prof, South Africa, naval drill with Russia and China. The South African Foreign Affairs Minister, Naledi Pandor, was quoted as saying yesterday that, look, this is South Africa's own choice, and South Africa as a sovereign state, and South Africa as a sovereign state, and South Africa as a sovereign state has the right to engage in diplomatic relations as it deems with its partners. More so, as South Africa is a member of the BRICS, and this is just in the course of normal diplomatic relations. But why do you think there has been so much objection, criticism of this proposed naval drill in the Indian Ocean among these three countries?
Thank you very much for your question. The lady, the South African Foreign Minister, has been addressing all the wrong issues. Nobody is saying that South Africa does not have the right as a sovereign nation to pick and choose its friends internationally. But South Africa is not an island unto itself. As far back as 1976, please mark my dates, as far back as 1976, the Nigerian Institute of International Affairs, at that time, proposed a Nigeria, Brazil, Angola axis to spearhead the protection of the South Atlantic Ocean and prevent the incursion into it by the superpowers. It didn't go down well in Nigeria. Our socialist colleagues in the university said, oh, Angola is newly independent. It's a socialist country. Nigeria and Brazil are capitalist countries, and that our proposal was to muscle the independence of Angola. Nothing happened. In fact, I almost lost my job as Director General of the Nigerian Institute over it. It was T.Y. Danjuma who said there's nothing wrong with the proposal. The sitting president at that time couldn't understand where I was coming from, and whatever he doesn't understand, he finds it as threatening to his own posture as the heavy brain of foreign policy in Nigeria at that time. So nothing came out of it. But even as Minister of External Affairs, I again came up with the proposal, this time with the understanding of President Babangida, who knew where I was coming from. But you see, it entailed, because people, people say, if you are going to blame the fox, but blame the chicken also for straying outside. Nigeria has continuously abdicated its responsibility for promoting genuine and pristine ideas in this area. Because if the Nigerian Navy had been prepared to be a deep blue sea navy, it will have been in a position actually to carry this proposal about protecting the South Atlantic Ocean from incursion by superpower presence. For heaven's sake, the South African Navy has 4 corvettes. Only one in the past 2 years has gone out to sea. They have 3 submarines, I believe. None has gone out to sea. So what joint exercises are you having? The joint exercise between the rider and the horse? Have we been consulted? When I say we who are also guardians of the South Atlantic Ocean, Nigeria, Angola, Brazil on the other side, all those of us who pledged to make the South Atlantic Ocean conflict-free, have we been consulted? My investigation is that we have not been consulted.
But why is he all into South Africa's business? Why? You proposed something in 1976. It never came to fruition. And South Africans gained their independence in 1994. And we're like, it's self-determination. We got to take care of South Africa. Take our destiny into our own hands. Why are you up in arms? Ex-Nigerian foreign minister or foreign affairs minister. You sat around, you didn't do anything about it, and now you are all up in arms. So I'm addressing you, that woman in Nigeria or from Nigeria. I don't know whether you live in Nigeria, but from Nigeria, the way you addressed me, that woman from Ghana, I'm addressing you, that woman from Nigeria. You are clearly uninformed. You're just ranting and rambling and raving. Ranting and rambling about nothing. You see the proof here? I don't just come and spout things. So you can rant and rave all you like. The facts are before you. So when you're coming again, make sure you come with facts, supported by receipts. Capiche? Do you understand? What's nyame kana say? Onuono ni wi oshishi. Comprend? Comprenez? Vous comprenez? To comprend? So let's see more of proof that this man has it out for South Africa. It's a pattern, as I said. It is a pattern. So who is he to come and say that South Africa is the enemy of Nigeria when the reverse is true? Because it's like you are all in their business, ranting and raving, always finding an opportunity to point fingers. Their leaders have taken their destiny in their own hands and they are proceeding. You do that to Nigeria. You do it in your space, but of course not. We're going to come in your space and tell you what to do. And when you don't, then we start calling you names and labeling you.
Leaders of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, have given the junta in Niger Republic 1 week to reinstate President Mohamed Bazoum or face sanctions and the possible use of force. A representative of the bloc will be dispatched to Niger to deliver the demands of the authority. State House correspondent Adesua Moran reports.
Regional leaders under the aegis of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, are meeting in Nigeria's capital, Abuja, for an emergency meeting to address the political situation in Niger. After a closed-door session, the leaders unequivocally declared their support for President Mohamed Bazoum's legitimate government and strongly condemned the audacious coup in the country.
His Excellency President Mohamed Bazoum remains the legitimate elected president and head of state of the Republic of Niger, recognized by ECOWAS, the African Union, and the international community.
President BOLAJI, who also serves as ECOWAS chair, emphasizes the need to go beyond mere talks and implement concrete actions to protect democracy and stability in the region.
Without freedom
and democracy, there can be no development. There can be no end to poverty. I want us to be strong, forceful, and resolute about the survival of Bazoum, as well as the freedom and restoration of the constitutionally elected body in Niger Republic. It's time for action, and we should walk our talks.
Joining us now on the morning show to discuss the decision of ECOWAS and what to expect in the coming days is Professor BOLAJI AKINYEMI, Nigeria's former Minister of Foreign Affairs.
ECOWAS is supposed to take the lead, and then the African Union will follow up. Instead, the African Union took the lead in responding to the issue in Niger. Why? This was something masterminded by South Africa to thumb President Tinubu in the face. It was an anti-Tinubu action by the African Union. Why do I say that the South African is behind this? There's a video that is going around which showed an analysis on South African television station which blames Tinubu for the coup in Niger, that it is because President Tinubu is illegitimate, because his election is contentious, etc., etc., that the coup had happened. Now, this is coming from a nation where their president has an anti-corruption charge still hanging around his neck, and which the majority view, the majority party, the ANC, in parliament, he had used to overturn the decision of a judicial panel which had found him guilty of corruption. This is coming from the same South Africa that is now blaming President Tinubu. So the AU stepped quickly into the breach in order simply to thumb President Tinubu in the face. Now, ECOWAS has now put itself, if you want to put it that way, by now imposing a 7-day limit for a reaction, while African Union gave them 15 days, creating a hiatus that, if you like, the Niger regime can exploit by saying we will listen to the African Union rather than the ECOWAS. We should keep that in mind because, in fact, the problem for ECOWAS is not being posed by the Western countries, it's being posed by the African Union, being instigated by South Africa.
Oh my goodness. The problem for ECOWAS is AU being instigated by South Africa. Did you hear that? Folks, you can't make this up. Masterminded by South Africa to thump President Tinubu. So who is obsessed with whom? Who is the enemy of whom? The one who meddles in others' business. Who is the enemy of whom? And I wanted to bring all these up so that that woman in Nigeria will understand what is going on. She seems to be uninformed. She just came and spewed whatever. So here is proof that this guy has something out for South Africa. It is what it is. So let's watch the video. Let's watch the video he claimed was circulating denigrating or trying to disgrace President Tinubu.
We speak to SABC News International Editor Sophie Mukwana. Thank you so much for making time for us, and good morning. And then at the same time, the neighboring country of Niger, Mali, we've just seen now that the US there also have placed sanctions on some of the military officials. What does this all mean then for the ECOWAS region?
It's quite unstable right now. And unfortunately, you have the chair currently, it's Nigeria, and the president of Nigeria. You know, he's also facing a lot of pressure in his country in terms of how the election panned out, in terms of the results. Some questioning the credibility of the elections. He issued a strong statement yesterday, but already when you read the reaction to that statement, people were already saying, you yourself, you are not legitimate. And therefore, this time around, ECOWAS is not as strong as the ECOWAS that we are used to. You'd recall when there were challenges in the region previously, they were quick to react and to respond, and there was that credibility because those who were speaking at that time, who were leading the regional body, had credibility. But right now, it's on a very shaky ground. I mean, the same with the AU. AU has issued a statement. The commissioner is currently in St. Petersburg at the Russia-Africa summit. But unfortunately, who will listen to the AU when they couldn't even resolve, or they can't even resolve the problem in Sudan? And now you have Niger. So we have regressed as a continent in terms of peace and security. So it speaks to the current leadership we have on the continent.
As you just heard, this newscaster was pretty even-handed about apportioning blame, both to ECOWAS and AU. But to hear it told by the ex-Foreign Affairs Minister, it's denigrating or trying to pull President Tinubu down. So again, who hates whom? Who is the enemy of whom? Here he is. He's obsessed with South Africa. He wants to blame South Africa for everything, for decisions that Nigeria failed to take, actions and decisions that they failed to make when they should have.
There are people now who are Nigerians, who are expatriates, and they can no longer work in Nigeria because they are now expatriates. I don't know if you understand. So they will always send them to different African countries or maybe outside the continent, but they will never work in Nigeria again because they have now become an expatriate. I want you to read up on who an expatriate is and what is their role. And this person is into humanitarian, so there's a level you get to. You can no longer work in your own country. So they keep transferring them to different places like that. So you, that woman, if you watch this video, who is trying to say is the way our Nigerian leaders are talking, that is why the Nigerians are talking down on other countries, is a big lie. Please mention another country that Nigerians are talking about, if not these wicked South Africans and Ghanaians, wicked and unreasonable people. Tell me one.
After a 3-day retreat in Kigali, Rwanda, for the Nigeria Governors Forum facilitated by the United Nations Development Programme, UNDP, Nigerian governors said effective leadership was in high demand in Africa. They acknowledged that Nigeria was battling a huge trust deficit, saying that there's need for dialogue to find a lasting solution to the problem. The governors also said that they were ready to understudy Rwanda's post-war development programs as critical takeaways. Joining us now for a discussion on the just concluded BRICS and the Rwanda retreat by Nigerian Governors Forum is Professor BOLAJI AKINYEMI, Nigeria's former Minister of Foreign Affairs. Great to have you, Prof. It's a pleasure talking to you this morning again, Prof. Let's make sense of...
Thank you very much.
Bless you, sir. Let's make sense of what is happening now as regards, the situation of going to learn from Rwanda. Same Rwanda. And when I say same in quotes, Rwanda, I'm sure you know the full story, sir.
When you think things cannot get worse, then they do get worse. I can't believe we will fall into the pit of shame by 19 of our governors going to Kigali, Rwanda, to learn how to govern. You know, in any case, if I say things can't get worse next week, then they will get worse. When I was a minister, it was a battle to stop people even attending embassy parties. Because at that time, you will have ministers, judges of the Supreme Court, you will find them attending receptions, not even given by the ambassador, at times given by, attachés. And the Ministry of Foreign Affairs will send out notes upon notes. IBB, whom I served under, will issue cautionary notices at cabinet meetings about not demeaning Nigeria by flocking to these embassy parties. And now, have we got a better class of politicians, of rulers of governors? Kigali, of all places.
We're now being joined by Professor BOLAJI AKINYEMI, former Foreign Minister, Foreign Affairs Minister, and former Director General of the Nigerian Institute of International Affairs. Welcome to the show, Professor AKINYEMI, and good morning.
Good morning, Dr. Abati. Good morning, Ms. Abiola, and good morning, Mr. Hosseini.
Morning, sir.
Let's start with the symbolism, the significance of the three-nation visit by the U.S. Secretary of State, Antony Blinken. He visited Kenya, Nigeria, Senegal.
Well, I think the trip was significant, and it showed what I will call the fractures between the then President Obama and the then Vice President Biden, between Kerry, who was Secretary of State, and between Antony Blinken, who was the Deputy Secretary of State, in the sense that while the Obama administration treated Nigeria with contempt, it looks to me as if including Nigeria on this trip was a signal that the Biden administration intends to take Nigeria seriously. Obviously, and he said it in his speech, that he, at least the Biden administration, recognized, in spite of all our problems, that Nigeria was still an actor to be reckoned with within the international community, and that the future development in the world needs Nigerian voice. I hope you remember that even Obama flew to Ghana when he came on his African trip and ignored Nigeria.
So you, that woman, if you watch this video, get a clue before you come and exhibit your uninformed ignorance. Because yes, some of your leaders belittle other countries to make themselves feel better, thus enabling you, the citizens, to do the same. And that's exactly what I said in my last video. What's wrong with going to Kigali to go learn how to get a city clean? Kigali is one of the cleanest, or amongst the cleanest cities in all of Africa. So why belittle that we've come down to this? Why use that type of language? So if you don't understand what I meant, this is what I mean. That's what I meant when I said your leaders, some of your leaders belittle others to make you feel better. Almost like how they forever claim that they provide Ghana with electricity. It's only recently that most of your citizens are coming to the understanding that it's gas that we purchase, that Ghana purchases from Nigeria, and that you cannot give what you don't have. If you do not have electricity, you cannot provide another country with electricity. 1 + 1 = 2, not 4. But no, your leaders are going to belittle others, and when people call you out, then you come out with an attitude. Next time, come with receipts. Don't come and spew what you know nothing of. Anyway, folks, I'm going to end it here. This has gone on a bit longer than necessary. I didn't even address all her whatever she was trying to convey. Thank you all so much. My channel is growing. I appreciate you all. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye.